Hi everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today I am back with another part of my Zodiac series where we are going through and creating tiny homes based on all of the Zodiacs, and today we are tackling Gemini as we are in Gemini season now. If you didn't know, I'm doing these based on which season we are in, so I believe we only have 2 left after this. We're getting pretty close to the end here, as I did start these last year. But I've been having so much fun with them, so I really hope you will enjoy this build as well. As usual, I'm just going to put the disclaimer here that these are based on the traits that I find when I research the zodiac signs, as well as comments from y'all on things you might want to see included in a build representing each of the zodiac signs that you might have experience with. This by no means is going to fit for everybody with said zodiac sign. You're probably not going to have all of the traits that are associated or like all the same colors or interests that I decide to include in these builds. It's just a really fun way to go ahead and create some different looking houses in The Sims and get some cool inspiration that way. So with that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about Gemini. So Gemini is between May 21st and June 21st, and the colors associated with them are yellow, green, and blue. Often when people think of Gemini, they think of twins, because they are called the celestial twins, and they are an air sign that was interested in so many pursuits that it had to double itself. So basically, these Sims, in this case, have a lot of interests. They kind of jump around from thing to thing. They might have some unfinished projects, and just have a lot of interests. I've also read that they are very curious and have a lot of friends and like to explore and basically try a little bit of everything that life has to offer. So I tried to incorporate some of that into this build. I also read that because of all the different interests they have and things like that, they often have a little bit more of eclectic spaces, a little bit quirky, maybe slightly maximalist. So I tried to combine a couple of those different ideas together, and basically I ended up creating this really weird shaped modern looking tiny house that the inside is pretty cluttered. I included a lot of books and plants and crystals. Those were things I found in my research, but I also had a ton of comments from y'all about. And speaking of which, everyone was like, please don't make it for literal twins. We are not actually twins. And I wanted to make sure not to do that. So I didn't really address that idea at all in this build, other than that, you know, they have a lot of different interests. I tried to incorporate that. And the things that I wrote down were that Geminis excel in creative fields such as writing and journalism, but they also might have some skill in trade, art, or team sports. And so they are very versatile and they want to experience everything the world has to offer. So I took that in a couple of different ways and I ran with it. So I was thinking that the Sim in particular was a journalist, but they also really enjoy a few different aspects of more artistic fields. So I do have an easel on this property. I also have some like drawing tablets on their desk. I have a guitar outside, and I was thinking that the Sim really likes to entertain and have fun with their friends. And trying to include that in a tiny house is a little bit difficult because obviously I assume that would be the Sim going out and exploring the town. But I wanted to make sure there was a little bit of entertaining space here as well, which is outside. I end up having a really cozy space to hang out with a couple of friends at a table. There's some candles. There's a little performance area. It's super adorable and kind of intimate. So you'll see that here in a little while. I think it's one of the last things I do. And also this room here that's in the roof, I think is gorgeous. I will be changing the roof. So it is a glass roof, and that ends up being a space with lots of books and plants and crystals. And it's just like a cozy space to really dive into those interests. I also wanted to make sure to incorporate a bunch of the different colors into this space that I had read about. So there's quite a bit of like pops of yellow and green, a little bit of blue as well, but everything else is more like earthy tones, just because I felt like it matched really nicely here, even though this is an air sign. I just didn't want it to be like over the top bright. I was reading that just like bright pops of color would be preferred. So that's what I decided to do here. And here is that bookshelf that I ended up adding. I think this one is so pretty. It's a base game one, and it just looks like it's full of old books and you could learn so much from it. So these are some of the crystals I grabbed there in like the colors associated with Gemini. I do put one outside that's not because I just thought it was pretty, but I have a couple of these in here. I thought they were nice. I really like that we have all of these collectibles in the game. They're quite cute. What else did I write down? A Gemini is constantly juggling a variety of passions, hobbies, careers, and friend groups. They're social butterflies of the zodiac sign, and they are quick-witted and can talk to anyone about anything. So they really enjoy happy hours, dinner parties, dance floors, that kind of thing. And what else did I write down? Some of these are just notes that I wrote down for myself to keep in mind, which was books, plants, rocks, collection, maximalist. In progress projects, not finishing things. Yellow kitchen, cluttered. Mix of styles, quirky and not traditional. Modern exterior, maximalist clutter interior. And then I wrote down that I wanted to make the greenhouse room full of books, plants, and crystals. So I think I incorporated that all into this space. It's a really weird layout. I really love that. It's very different than anything I've done before, which is why I said when I wrote down and saw that like things were a little bit not traditional and quirky, that I just ran with it. This is a very strange shaped house, but I like that about it. It's very unique. And I feel like a Gemini is very unique in that they have so many different interests, and that kind of feels like it's portrayed in this house. But let me know if you agree with that. Did I do okay? I'm always really worried that I'm not going to do so well on this. I did share the process of this with a couple of my friends who are Geminis, and they were like all about it. So like I got a little bit of feedback to begin with, but I would still like to know how you think I did. But anyway, this is the kitchen space. I had already put down everything in here for appliances. I'm just decorating with some extra clutter now. It's pretty simple. I used these countertops and cabinets from Cottage Living. I also brought in this really pretty like plant curtain that came with the Blooming Rooms kit over the bed. And I will be cluttering up the bed area a lot more. This is when I'm starting to get in and clutter. At first, I had just placed down pieces of furniture to make sure that the layout was going to work before I went in and decorated, because it's such an awkward, weird space that I wanted to make sure that I could actually have everything function. And I have play tested this, so everything should be functional. The only thing that's a little weird is the bathroom that has a shrunken down sink next to a toilet. It's all really scrunched in there, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So the uploaded version might not have a sink in it, and it might just have a toilet and a shower, but there is a sink in the kitchen, so no worries on that. It was only a 2-tile bathroom, so I had to figure out the best way to make that work. And then in here, I'm just adding a rug, and I also added these paintings up above the bed that are of like various locations. Since Geminis really want to explore the world and see everything that it has to offer, I decided to add that as like maybe a little nod to the travels they have done. I also added a soccer ball in here since I read that they might be good at team sports. I also had a ton of you suggesting that Geminis love animals, so I included a cat tree and like all the things you need for a cat in this house. I thought that that was a cute idea and a nice little companion for them. So not literally twins, but maybe like a sim and their cat who is like just like them. I think that's a really cute idea. And then I added some photos up above that, so you could fill that in with whatever you want. I would personally put it as cat photos because yes. And then I changed the rug in the kitchen, and then I added these shelves by the bed, and I just cluttered them up with all sorts of stuff, all these different interests, the things they collect. I have a bunch of books up here and like little sculptures. I was trying to pull some things that felt like more eclectic and maximalist. So I hope you like how this space came out. I really, really enjoyed this particular shelf. I think it is so pretty. And if you do like this build and you'd like to download it, it will be available on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You can also find it under the hashtag Miss Gryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. Did I just say it under the hashtag Miss Gryphi? Oh my gosh, force of habit. That is outdated. But anyway, just figuring out the last couple of things I wanted to put up here. I wanted this to work as like a clutter space and like cute decor, but also like a functional bedside table. So I did put glasses and stuff there, and we have some magazines. I'm actually going to be raising up those candles because I'm going to put a box there instead and put the candles on top of it, just to add a little bit more height over there and make it a little bit more cluttered. I think it looks quite nice. And then I'm going to be changing a couple of swatches as well. And that space has been cluttered up. I think it looks quite nice. What do we have left? Oh yeah, I clutter up the top of the cabinets in the kitchen because it's a small space, and that feels like a realistic place to do storage, to keep extra items you have. So I just go through the clutter catalog and grab all sorts of stuff. We have like boxes and books and kitchen supplies and just things you could have anywhere in your house, but this is a good storage spot. So I did put some of the puzzles up there because you're probably not grabbing those too often. So just having it in there for you to go ahead and grab it whenever you need it. And then this side has some more of like random clutter, but also more kitchen supplies. So I do end up having some pots and pans, some like teas and stuff, some plates, things like that. And then I grabbed the dog treats thinking they could be cat treats. And you'll see that I moved those over to the other side of the house, closer to the entrance. And I love how that ended up working out. I just had a lot of fun decorating the surfaces and having the different platforms, like entering up high and then going down. I felt like added some cool clutter opportunities. So this is where I put those cat treats. So when you're walking down the stairs, you can go ahead and grab a treat and give it to the cat who is on the cat tree. And then I added a plant up there as well. I think I cut it out, but somewhere in here I put the fire alarm and temperature controls. And then we're decorating the bathroom. I remembered that the toilet had its own slots on it now. So I just added a plant and a soap pump so that it's right next to the sink. It's very cluttered in there, or very squished in there. It's not that cluttered. I only have a couple of items. And then above the TV, I put some of these kitchen cabinets from Dream Home Decorator, thinking they could be some additional storage in the space. I just shrunk them down and then I added a light switch next to it. I thought that was also realistic, like a light switch when you first walk in the door. So that's what I opted for. And then out front, I wanted to add some sort of skill building item on the front porch or like something interactable. So I ended up putting this bonsai tree. I thought that could be a fun thing for your Sims to go ahead and explore. And since I was trying to add so many different types of activities for this sim, I thought that was a fun one that I don't actually use that often. And then we're just going to be working on landscaping, getting some rocks leading off to the front of the lot. Also, at some point, I moved this lot. I started in Glimmerbrook and then I am now in Copperdale. I've just been really into building in Copperdale lately. And I actually have another build coming out later this week that is also in Copperdale. I don't know what it is about it. I just think it is such a cute little world. So be on the lookout for that. So I'm just getting lots more shrubs and flowers and stuff around. And then I'm going to be creating that outdoor space that I had mentioned earlier for entertaining and having a couple of friends over to just enjoy some outside time together. So that's going to be over here. I use this picnic bench, which is actually from Journey to Batu. I really like this one because unlike the others where it's just like one long bench, each seat is like its own little bench. And I just think it's really cute. I like the look of it. And everything's not like perfectly aligned. It looks like things have been moved a little bit. And then I added these string lights from the toddler stuff pack and I raised them up and grabbed some of these little rock pillars I should be grabbing here shortly from Debug to put on the bottom so it doesn't look like they're floating and they look a little bit more grounded in their space. And I add another one and some fencing around it as well to make it feel a little bit more enclosed. And of course, getting some candles and crystals and just making it super cozy. I really love how this build came out. Obviously, it's not going to fit every Gemini, but let me know what you think of it regardless and how you think I did. And give me any ideas for our next Zodiac sign because we only have like 1 or 2 left and that makes me sad because I have so much fun with these. Here's that little performing station that I had mentioned and getting a couple more plants before we head out into screenshots. I really hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so very much for watching. Enjoy the screenshots and I will see you all in the next one. Also, I last minute changed the house to yellow. Okay, bye.